And it's good evening, ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, and even you, Luxton F1 in the chat. It's another night from BFE at Japan. Back-to-back streams this evening. First up, we have ERL versus EXR. And tonight, last night was a Decorous Icon. Tonight is a BFE and Decorous Icon. I'm joined tonight by Decorous Caesar. Good evening, Caesar. How you doing? It will indeed, and I'm sure we'll be carrying each other through come 9 o'clock this evening, as we'll be a little bit later for you, I'm guessing. Good evening, chat. How are we doing? What's your thoughts for this evening as we look at the team sheet this evening for ERL? So there's the ERL team for everyone as we head over to the EXR team for this evening. I don't cover them a lot. I don't cover these guys a lot, so I know a few EXR lads. Have we got a weather report, Mr. Caesar?
I will quickly ask a team boss or an engineer to put that in chat. Yeah, well, a few people mentioned it in chat. I was muted, so I didn't include my audio. But now it's all sorted. Yeah, as I said earlier, but you didn't hear it. ERL currently only have 5 drivers, but that's because one of the drivers lagged out just before qualifying. But they will get him in as soon as possible, as he just joins. So that's good. He's been told to retire on time since there's a glitch nowadays in this game where if you join back in qualifying later, you still have 80 minutes. But luckily he will retire in time. So yeah, for ERL we have Bartfrost, ERL Vader, ERL Keymirror, Kevar, Savoia, and ERL Cosme. And for EXR we have EXR Louis, Ali Ferrari, Istvan Tamasi, EXR Stonks, EXR Luca, EXR Ollie as EXR Ollie has lagged out, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I will invite him back immediately.
No, some connection issues already noted, and good evening in the chat too. Badders, seen you at the top there, haven't misread or aired your message. Good evening to Badders, Decorous Jacob 5515, Luxton F1 in the chat, FE Barney, you can have your daily ratio, sunshine. And check this out, 68, good evening, as we're on board with Luca for the first lap, and Caesar, do you want to take it away for us?
Yeah, give me a second. If you want to take it, because I'm inviting Ollie at the moment.
No problem. Yeah. So down the long pit straight we go up into 8th gear, just flirting with 200 miles an hour down into the long swoop in turns 1 and 2, and the most important part of the track which caught a lot of drivers out last night from FRA. It's the famous S-Bends at Japan. Looking to take it nice and easy through the first one, a lot of lifting as you can see. And then the uphill left-hander again. We saw Ronhart absolutely send it into the gravel here last night. Down into the first of the 2 Degners and the end of sector 1. 32-1 from Luca as we go into the second Degner. Just misses the apex by a fraction and it runs him wide up into the Kobayashi curve, aka the hairpin of turn 11. Kisses the start of the apex and runs it wide on the exit as we come up to the very easy right-hander turn 12, and then we go into another one of the famous corners. It's Spoon. Normally you eat your ice cream with it, but they'll be driving around it tonight. Hits it lovely on the curb on the outside, brings it in, kisses the apex early on the throttle. Team orders again that we see EXR using that toe, and that will be a popular format from both sets of teams. And down into the other most important corner, 130R, a flat out left-hander down into Casio Triangle we go, late on the brakes, right in the curb on the inside and the outside, looking to get early on the throttle, keeping it right, hugging that pit wall, and the time to beat this evening for everyone is a 1:28.9. And that all Ferrari goes in with a 1:29.6. Pole last night, for those of you who do not know, was a 1:27.985. As we go on board with EXR Lewis going through the S's, as Stonk sets a 1:29.0 and Tomasi with a 1:29.4 on the mediums. Kimura from ERL then breaks it.
That's 28.
And we've got...
Jesus Christ. That's a good time. And then we have Vader crossing the line. I think he's invalidated. He's going for another lap, just as Cosme is about to start a lap, as he was on an out lap. We have Kevlar about to finish the lap. Sector 2 split was a 12-1, so it's looking to be a good lap. It's 28.7, 4 tenths behind his teammate at the moment. So we have Bartros, his middle sector was 11.9, so that's, I think it's going to be a 28.5. Yeah.
What a prediction from yourself.
Oh,
ERL
Kevlar
now out of
crashes
the top 3.
in the first sector.
Out on his in-lap.
He's out. I think it's on his in-lap, yeah. He just sent the first time.
Yeah, on his in-lap. And unfortunately, Mr. Kevar, you just can't park there, sir. And that's the end of qualifying for you. F's in the chat already going in for Kevar. Yellow flags all over the circuit. I'm on board with Vader, ERL Vader going into Spoon. And only one driver on the softs so far, Caesar. Is that... Are we going to see some medium switch-ups?
Yeah, on the mediums. There's only one on the mediums at the moment. So we have Vader. Vader sets the fastest sector 2, 11.7 split. Looking to be a low point 3, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see what
it's a point 4.
And it's a 1:28.4.
Cosme crosses the line, Cosme goes before.
Obviously, last night we saw Mr. Ronhag do a 28.1 on the mediums, and there were various different stories breaking out of the FRA paddock after the race. He actually invalidated a 1:27.2 on the soft, so I saw him invalidate a 27.7. So we're still some way off even that medium time yet. Do you expect anyone to go into the 27s from this lobby, Caesar?
In the 27s, well, we've seen especially Kimura, Vader, Savoia already close to the 28.0 barrier. But to get a 27.9 or 27.8 on this track, under such pressure in such a big important match, it's quite a job to do, as Louis improves to P8. As for now, it's ERL 1-6 and EXR 7-12.
It is indeed, and the only driver not to set a lap is EXR Ollie, who sent me a message before, and the last time I covered EXR we saw some fantastic moves from EXR Ollie, including splitting the middle of 2 cars, and he's assured me that I won't be seeing that again tonight. So early advantage to ERL here at Suzuka, and cars on the in-lap. Vader's on an in-lap. We've got Cosme, who has backed out and looks like he's going to go again. Lewis on an in-lap. So we're just in that midpoint as a 10-minute marker goes down. EXR Ollie, sorry, I think we'll go on board with Caesar if you want to take a lap away this time.
Ooh. I think he's invalidated, has he? Yeah, he has. He was 9 tenths down anyway. We have Ollie entering turn 1 and 2 as he clicks the curve on turn 1, but luckily his car stays good in traction. He hits the first one, he hits the second one, slows down a bit, but he's still looking good. Third one takes a water line for the final corner of sector 1, and he almost hits the grass there. It's looking steady from the EXR driver. As he goes now to sector 2, it's 32.4 as he misses the apex a bit of the first Degner. Second one is alright. Oh, he loses on traction, he hits the grass. And unfortunately, I think that's his lap as he backs down a bit. That's his lap pretty much done. for the EXR driver.
I'll pick up on board with Tomasi, who was the only driver on the mediums. Now he's having to go on the softs as he's midway through the S's, and it doesn't look all that comfortable. He missed, and the trouble is with I'm sure you can agree, Caesar, being a racer, I'm just a commentator, but I'm sure in them S's, if you mess up one, it really disrupts the whole sequence of corners. And he just went wide on the second S. We've got yellow flags for cars slowing down in sectors 1 and 3. Turn 12 we're coming through now with Tomasi. He was 2 tenths up in sector 1 on his soft run. Chose to abort their mediums pretty early, and here goes EXR Ollie, and the toe is in effect again, is it? No. Oh, that didn't go to plan.
It's grass.
He's touched grass. He touches grass on the inside. He's just over 3.5 temps up, coming through 130R. A bit of noise in the stream. Oh, and he's lost it. He's rode too much curb. Maybe a setup issue. Maybe the ride height's too low, and he's aborted that and come into the pit. So maybe a setup issue there, Caesar. He just rode the curb too much, coming out of 14, and he almost went right round, baby, right round.
Yeah, the final chicane is very difficult to get the traction in between the 2 corners. It's incredibly easy to lose your rear after the first one if you hit the curb. Indeed.
Some more entrants into the chat. Good evening, Shush. Good evening, Munja Klar. Good evening, Gaming Remy. AMS Tails in the chat as we watch Luca go 1.5 tenths quicker, and he's up to P7 with a 1:28.7. So it's still that 1 to 6 lockout for ERL in the early stages as we just get towards 6 minutes to go. Can you see any of the EXR drivers? And talking of EXR drivers, Luca, he's hit the barrier there.
Bart's 2 tenths up, and he goes P2.
Luca, we saw him just absolutely send it onto the first S, and he's clipped the curb, and did well not to go right round, baby, right round. The guy in P4, I can't say his name.
Saya.
Zaya, we'll go with Zaya. We'll run that one just coming through Spoon. Can you see any Stonks goes 1:28.5 into P6? Can you see anyone else in the EXR team making that move up into the top 5 now, Caesar, and making a move on the ERL drivers?
Well, I know Ollie has some pace, so I think we still need to see what he can do as he goes P9 ahead of Louis. Yeah, but still 2 tenths shy of the ERL driver, which is classified lowest, as Saya goes pole with a 28.3.
So still four tenths away from last night's pole time.
As we have Kimura, he's a 10th up. Now in the final sector. And he goes to a 28.1. Provisional pole position.
A tenth quicker, so ERL starting to improve massively.
Cosme goes 2nd.
Yep, Cosme again in the McLaren up to P2. Bartfras I'm on with now. He's aborted his lap.
Vader. 0.0.
120. So we're getting closer. We're a tenth away now from that pole time from last night. EXR Louis is about to cross the line, and it's P7, a 1:28.6. Good evening to PSR Harry and Decorous Smates also in the chat. All Ferraris in the pits as well as we get towards the final laps, and it's still advantage ERL, the 1 to 5 lockout, and it's going to be very difficult for EXR to break that top 5. I think there is a tenth difference between Bartfraz and Stonks at the moment, but the rest of them are a few tenths back. Half a second they need to find, I think. Caesar.
Yeah, well, in a qualifying session in Japan, it's very important to build up your pace. Well, so maybe if, for example, Zaya or Bartfraz invalidate the last runs and Stonks and Louis could get the most out of it, I think they can split and get somewhere in the top 5.
Indeed, and 65 viewers now tuned in. We're up to 423 followers on the BFE channel. Would love to see 430 tonight, so if you don't follow the channel, please hit that and support one of the best tournaments around. We'd love to see 430 follows tonight. That'd be really, really good. Don't forget, for those of you in, this is a back-to-back stream. We'll drop it for a minute or two, and then we'll be back with NRX versus FRT straight after this one, and that has potential to be a very good contest, Caesar.
Yeah, as we see Bartfrost going out already, Ali Ferrari as well as Stonks. Final minutes of qualifying coming in. Remember, Cosmic joined back later, but he's gonna retire in time, since we have that qualifying glitch, which is absolutely ridiculous that we have it. But yeah, we've got to deal with it and try to deal with it in the best way. So the big question, big question is, can EXR get some of the drivers in the top 5? What do you think, Rose?
I said I haven't followed very many EXR races, so I'm not 100% up to scratch with what they've got. Lewis and Stonks probably have that potential, but on their day, I think Luca and Ollie can find a lot of time in them laps, and you know, the guys Tomasi and all Ferrari in the 29s, they really need to get the hammer down. And really start to make that time, but ERL Bartfraz is going to be the first one to start the final laps here in qualifying.
He's going to have some traffic in the first sector. Loads of cars there.
He is.
Yeah.
There is a car park there. Hopefully they can get out the way. There is a Aston Martin going very, very slow up ahead as we go through the first S into the second one. Wants to keep that power as planted as he can, and that's good from EXR Lewis, just pulling out the way. Just slightly going on the uphill left as we see we start to look towards the right. Oh, he's
backed out of it. Yeah, I think he got distracted a little bit by Louis. I mean, Louis couldn't do anything else there, but yeah, it's still distracting. So
who's next? All Ferrari.
Oh, he's fun.
Yeah, wants to turn that Red Bull into a bit of a lawnmower there, and unfortunately you just can't park there.
His teammate's coming.
So, yeah, we'll go on board with Stonks, who, he almost loses it. You just seen the back end just step out on him as he rode a little bit of the curb in the lawnmower Red Bull as he goes wide on the uphill left coming into the deck, and he's invalidated.
Yeah.
Cosmi next. Down into turn 1.
I've seen some of the ERL drivers hitting the curb in turn 1. I mean, at least the setup I use, if you do that, it completely kills your car on traction. But it looks like they've got, they know how to do it.
Yeah, Cosmi putting everything into the S's there, kept the throttle as much planted as he can. He's found a 1/10 of a second. Needs to find a little. Oh, that traction again out at turn 10. The second Degner has caught a couple of drivers out already, and he just missed the braking point into turn 11. So I think he would have lost that. He would have lost that 10th, no doubt. Into Spoon.
Nails that as well.
Yeah, lovely early on the throttle on exit. That is the best Spoon we've seen so far.
Yeah, it's a Rebel drivers, which means I think it's Ali Ferrari in front, but I don't think he's going to get an advantage from slipstream.
So he's lost half a 10th going into Casio Triangle.
As Vader gets a slipstream from his teammate, Vader's 1.5 tenth up.
And that's a 28.2. And Aston Martin's retired on track there in sector 2.
Vader crosses the line at 27.9. So we have a driver into the 27s.
That beats the pole time from last night. Last night was at 27.985 and Vader's done that by 3/100ths of a second.
Bart Frasco second with a 28.1. So we have Savoia is validated. And then we have Tamasi, he's validated as well. And that will be it for qualifying, I think.
Yeah, so the big
Cosme backed out of it. But I think it's the end for Cosme as well, because he obviously has more time, but he has to retire.
And a big talking point again for the second night in a row. 27.9 takes pole position, and some drivers. It looked like one of the Aston Martins. I couldn't recall which one, retiring out on the track, coming out of turn number 11. But that is a very good time, and it's a ERL 1 to 5, so it's going to be very, very difficult for EXR to, and they're all on the same tyre as well. Last night we saw a mix-up between the mediums and the softs in qualifying. Tonight everyone looks like, I think they're going to all be on the softs inside the top 10. Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Tomasi set his fastest lap on the mediums, but he's down in P11.
As we wait for Cosme to retire, and he has, so that's the end for qualifying.
EXR Lewis reporting in the chat sees that there's 3 academy drivers out tonight as we just go over the standings. So ERL Vader takes pole with 27.955, a 10th.5 clear his teammate Bart Fraz. Kimura, Cosme and Saya complete the top 5. The lead runner for EXR is Stonks, followed by Lewis, Kevar, Luca and Ollie. Ivan Tomasi and all Ferrari drop into, they'll have the fresh tyres in P11 and P12, and we will be
couple of minutes. Go what you need to do.
no problem.
I will right away ask when the team bosses give the call to ready up. Oh, as someone has readied up already. I haven't been noticed by a team boss for a time to ready up, so hopefully Rose gets back in time.
Here's a way off the start though, if you would, my
Yeah.
friend.
Alright, the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth light here in Japan. Lights out, and away we go, and we have Vader getting an absolutely banger of the start. And with actually all ERL drivers, as Kevar is up to P7. As he now overtakes Stonks, and he's in P6 even, as ERL it's 1 to 6. Oh, and that's Louis out. He spun on the exit of turn 2.
Now, what was already a difficult situation for EXR has now been made 100 times worse as Lewis span coming out of turn 1 and Stonks has collected him.
Oh, has he? Oh, I missed that. Oh.
Yeah, I caught it on the stream, and yeah, unfortunately EXR Lewis was right round, baby, right round. And the leader Vader, pit stop strategy is a soft hard one stop. Or
Luca overtakes Kevar in the hairpin. And immediately he loses the place to Ollie as well.
Tomasi
Oh, Tomasi.
out on the exit of turn 11 is also right round, baby, right round.
Well, Ferrari has
So that's-
lost time as well, 2.2 seconds behind.
He's at a moment
Oh,
possibly
that's Ollie
with-
gone. And he collects Kevlar and the bow spin off. Oh, and Ollie gets a 5-second penalty from the game, from his collision. Not sure if that was completely right. Yeah, they have all the right to request to remove it.
Now, I don't race much anymore, but in this 6v6, I think if you wanted to press the self-destruct button and showcase it, EXR have done that so far in this race.
Situation is that the top 6 is currently away in the DRS train, but 5 of those 6 are ERL drivers, and only 1 is in EXR and he's on the back of it as well.
Possible 2 teammates at EXR have smashed into each other as well, which...
Yeah, I think it was in turn 2 with Louis and Stonks.
Yeah. A lot of chat, as quite rightly predicted, about that lap 1. Probably one of the most carnage laps I've seen is yellow flagged in sector 3 for some reason.
I'm not sure if that's completely right, but we have Stonks and Louis coming out of softs again. Well in last place, 30 seconds to Kevlar and P10. Oh, if Stonks immediately goes on the gravel. But yeah, the top 6 are pulling away.
Yeah, and that's a 1v5, so Luca's got it all to do. He's already 3.1. Oh, is on board with Stonks. He's had an awful sector 1 there, and the pit stop strategy keeps coming up, so perhaps they're expecting him to come back in the pits again at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it will be. Yeah, well, at least he's for the second time he's on softs now, so he hasn't complied to the tire regulation yet. So he has to make another stop.
Indeed, and Smate's very vocal in the chat, along with Race Roller, Decorous Brett, Moo Moo Milks in the chat. Good evening to you all. Yellow flag in sector 1.
That's Tomasi into the wall on the mediums.
And Tomasi, unfortunately, you just can't park air, sir. That's the second time we've seen him spin, and if he stayed there any longer, he would have got himself a parking ticket. And it just goes from bad to worse for EXR.
He doesn't have damage, but he's a long way back from P9 now. Which is Kevlar driving on the softs. Ferrari still on the medium, of course, with 3.4 seconds behind the train, as Vader has pulled away from P-Mirror. So he's going out of his own.
Yeah,
right
he is. Vader's backing up that very rapid qualifying pace with decent race pace as well.
Oh, that's Ollie.
2.
Yeah, Ollie's gone round. Oh!
Ollie wants to turn.
As Kevlar goes through him, luckily the game decided to ghost him there.
Yeah, Ollie fancied turning around and having a watch of Kevlar coming through, and the EXR spin count is up at 6, and it's Luxton F1's keeping the EXR spin count going in the chat for us. And yeah, Kevlar very lucky not to end his own race. Thank God the game ghosted him through, Caesar. That could have been carnage.
Yeah, it was. Well, Kevlar has been collected. Well, he unfortunately drove into one of the EXR drivers spinning at the start, so it's all the way back now. But yeah, the game prevented a very big accident there as Luca gets a time, but it goes off, and he crashes and he DNFs. Oh.
Now, again, I'm not a racer by a long shot, but I'm sure you can't park air, sir. And that's a full safety car.
Oh, that's a full safety car. As all the EXR drivers pit, as they are completely at the back. What tire do they fit? It's a medium tire. I'm not sure if a medium tire can go to the end from here.
Now the general consensus in the chat, and I'm not one to stir the big wooden spoon, Caesar, is there was a slight hint of deliberate when Luca went off the track there.
Yeah, so what we're dealing with now is, well, the top 5 was pulling away at extraordinary rates, but now the whole field's going to be together again. As I think all the ERL drivers will be pitting. Oh no! Vader, Key Mirror, they both stay out because it's obviously a double stack. Now, I don't really know what the tactic behind that is, because they've got a massive gap behind him. The nearest competitor is Ollie and he's still nowhere near Spoon. So I don't really know what the plan was behind that. They have to drive a bit longer after the safety car and then pit again. They'll be faster, but they'll have to overtake a few EXR drivers.
I think it was an interesting call to leave both McLarens out as well. Vader and Cosme continuing on the softs.
Oh yeah, I missed that.
I think if you're ERL, you've got to box one of them. You've got to give Vader the pit strategy that he wants, and if he wants to stay out, unfortunately, Cosme, thanks to the memories, you'd have to come in the pits. But yeah, interesting to keep both McLarens out. Everyone else is boxed. Tomasi's going into the pits again.
Ooh,
5 seconds
penalty.
speeding in the pit lane as well. So he boxed for his new set of mediums, and he's gone back into the pits, and it looks like he is fitting that hard compounded tyre. So he's done all his tyres now what he needs to for and he can go to the M from here.
Yes, the Bartfrost and Zaya have put on the hard tyre, Kevlar on the mediums. Ollie, Stonks and Louis on the mediums as well. Yeah, the top 4 stays out.
Yeah, we've gone up to 70 viewers. Good evening to Crowdin, Paradox Sim Racing. Good evening to Justice for SLR is the stream at the moment.
SLR,
a lot of them going.
SLR has done a great job while winning both of their races in the group. So yeah, they're dependent of the score of this race now. If ERL scores over 72 points, so 73 points or more, they're through. In the beginning it looks very good for them. Yeah, there's a safety car now, so anything can happen.
Yeah. Still, both McLarens stay out.
Very interesting. Well, they obviously have no threat from behind because Ali of Alferrari is on the mediums currently. So if the top 3 can break away after the safety car, they can still pull away, I think, quite a fair bit, because of the safety car they will be able to reach, I think, lap 12 or maybe 13, and then go on to the set of mediums, which will make them obviously much faster than the rest of the field. But yeah, it's a bit of interesting tactic, because you would say you would pit at least one of the McLarens.
Some interesting. I'm just reading as you're just going through that. I do like to keep up with the chat and engage with them a little bit. And SLR F1 Esports channel is in the chat along with Snipes SB from SLR. There's a fresh keys in now. Justice for SLR.
Yeah, well,
hashtag still going through.
Well, it looked very good for them, but it looks like the safety car has saved a bit of EXR's race. So yeah, everything's still open. So I mean, everything can happen. So I think it's still the biggest chance for SLR to go through because of ERL, as I see Cosme not wearing a helmet, which is not very smart from him. But anything can happen. We'll just see the rest of the race how it goes. Maybe we can see EXR drivers picking it up and pull it off. But yeah.
It's safety car in.
Ooh, that's the late call.
6.
It's a very late call.
It is a late call, and as this race could change in a heartbeat.
Vader goes on the final chicane, and he still waits onto the start finish, and now he's gone. And he's gone.
As he caught key mirror napping half a second.
Ooh, Ollie's close to
back
Kevlar.
racing.
Ollie's very close to Kevlar there. As he gets the slipstream from his teammate. I don't think he's going to pull it off on the mediums there. Oh, he goes round the outside.
Oh, he's
what a move.
Late on the brakes. Fantastic move. And Kevlar actually taps the back of him.
Crazy move to go there. Yeah, you need some big balls for that one.
Yeah, big cojones, and that's exactly what's needed from EXR. Kevlar hit the back of EXR Ollie, and that nearly opened the door for Stonks to come through, but he still remains in P9. Chat's perked up a little bit. What a move. They're in agreement with us, Caesar. That was a fantastic move, and I will reply to his DM after this race saying I thought you said there was no good moves coming from you this evening. So they're starting to claw back a little bit, and he's right on the back of the Haas of Savoia in front.
This man got some pace because he's obviously in the medium tire. The two drivers in front are on the hards, so he's going to be wanting to make his moves as quickly as possible.
We're going to follow Ollie right the way round because he's got two hard guys in front of him. You see, he's just a little bit of a step out of the back end as we go through. We get towards 130R. Lando in the chat. Good evening, Lando. Hope you're well, mate. Complimenting both of us for our commentary this evening, Caesar and Zaya. Look like you just touch a bit of the grass on 130R, but not enough to make a move. And can Ollie make the move into turn 1 again? Is he going to make turn 1 his own?
He's not using ERS. He's rolling back a bit. He'll just be saving his ERS for now. As they're still on the DRS train, so overtaking is going to be very hard.
Yeah, both drivers on 70% as well. As Zaya looks like he has an awful S's. Oh, a little bit of a slide on the curb from Ollie. No. All Ferraris up in P4.
Yeah, he's still ahead of Bart for us on all the mediums. He's still sticking with the three drivers up front, which makes me wondering, maybe the softs are going off already.
Yeah, it does get about this time. Last night we saw drivers struggling after lap 7, but we've had safety car this time as well, so maybe there is a chance to just extend that stint out and jump onto the medium tyre instead of the hard. Who knows? As the safety car proved a little bit of an advantage. EXR, Lewis and Stonk swap round as well just before 130R. But it's back on board with Ollie against Caesar. Can he make that move into turn 1? He's just looking for that exit, and he doesn't get it.
As Louis gets a penalty, and crucially, Ferrari is out of the DRS train from the drivers in front. So he's going to be losing time, and he's going to be under pressure from ERL Bart Frost behind.
He just manages to hold it as we go through the S's. Ollie again using this opportunity to reel in Zaya. These mediums probably at temperature now. The hard's just getting there. 3 laps on the hard compound tyre for the two drivers in front as he goes wide out of the first Degner, but manages to correct it nicely for the second one and up to turn number 11.
As I've just seen now, I think it depends on which moment you look, but generally everyone's in the same train still.
Yeah, there is a DRS train running from P2 down to P9 as it stands at the moment, as we expect DRS to be activated at the end of this lap.
Yeah, I think it is. Cosmo is very close to his teammates, so I reckon he'll let them by. But no, he doesn't. Yeah, so currently as it stands, I think the top 3 are going to fall way behind the rest of the pack. They'll have a job to do after that pit stop.
Yeah, interesting call to stay out, and again that could be another advantage for the likes of EXR Ollie, who hasn't pitted yet. He could find himself in P3 after the pit stop window for the ERL boys out in front. So that safety car really did work to EXR's advantage, and an interesting call to keep to keep the top 3 out, as we brought up previously. So NRX Esports keeping a keen eye on proceedings here. They're just warming up, I imagine, for, I nearly said the main event of the evening, but it's not true. Gaming Remy's Barmy Army, that's an interesting chat. So lap 10 of 27. It feels like we've been racing for a little bit longer. Chat, what's the spin count at the moment, please? If someone's keeping it, Luxton, if you're still there, what is the spin hour count?
It's not the best count there's been. There's been better counts. But as Vader suddenly has a 2-second gap to Key Mirror, and Cosme is very close to the back of his teammate. As they still continue, softs are now 10 laps old. Vader goes for fastest lap, they've still got pace.
Yeah, it's that safety car would have just kept a bit of life in him, and the fastest lap on lap 10 on 10 lap old softs is good going in my eyes.
As everyone is still, apart from Stonks and Vader in the DRS train.
So we got a gathering of esports teams Twitch channels now, and FRA Esports have just joined.
Yeah, and SLR is in there as well.
Yeah, PSR. So Kevar's now on the back of Ollie, and he sets the fastest sector 1 of anyone.
Oh.
No Kevar.
It's obviously in the DRS train, and I think 6/7 tenths. It's just a big enough gap not to get so much dirty air.
So we have NRX, FRA, PSR and SLR, 4 esports teams, Twitch channels all having a conversation with each other, and it's good to see other esports teams coming in, watching what's going on, throwing a bit of support. Oh, a bit of inter-team battle.
As Stonks I think hit the wall on a straight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he has hit the wall.
Oh, Vader pits.
Yeah, so Vader comes in.
It got me as well. Oh.
Yeah.
That's a double stack.
So that is a.
I'm not sure if that was the plan, because Cosme is going to get loads of time.
So they stayed out together, and they've gone in together. And Cosme, if Stonks didn't spin, the 2 lads would have been down at the back, and that's yellow flag in sector 1. And guess who? It's that guy Tomasi again. That looked interesting. Seemed to.
So we have another yellow on the straight. The Stonks, I think, lifted on the straight, so I'm not mistaken. Not sure what's going on there. Ferrari at least is close to the back of Kimura. Kimura softs, likely dropping off. So I expect him to pit as well in the next lap.
I imagine they're close to a cliff, and all Ferrari with the safety car could probably kick us out another 4 to 5 laps.
Yeah.
As we watch Kimura go wide, and all Ferrari 5 doing an alright job. He didn't seem to have the best of qualifying sessions, but I know he hasn't boxed yet. But in terms of, he's keeping ERL and the boys in front. Earlier in the stint, nice and true, as we expect all Ferrari to take the lead of this race. Now we watch Kimura just drift off to the right, and all Ferrari is going to lead the race.
Yep, he is. As Bart Frost is immediately within 5/10 of him. With his ERS levels very close, it's going to be hard to make moves. All Ferrari goes a bit wide on turn 1. As there's a top 6 train again, but this time 3 ERL and 3 EXR drivers. But obviously all Ferrari on a different strategy.
It could be a bit of a ploy here to just drop the anchors on a bit from Ferrari and hold up Bart Fraser and Saya into the clutches of Ollie and Lewis. see it. All kinds of tactics come into play with this 6v6, which unfortunately is a 5v6 now with the departure of Luca early doors. Matty1929, good evening to you in the chat as well. Race Roller 22.
And that's Stonks has spun again in the SS.
Yeah. Talking of EXR drivers at Red Bull, Stonks is right round, baby, right round, and that's not ideal. So maybe the medium's not up to temperature yet, Caesar, and he's having a race to forget his old Stonks.
As I've just done a calculation of current standings, the current result, you would not believe it. As it stands, ERL and EXR tie, just like last night.
Don't tell me it's 51 apiece. We watched Bart.
It's 51 apiece at the moment.
51 apiece again?
Yeah, again.
2 nights in a row.
It's insane.
I can't believe it.
We've still got half a race to go with Vader, Kimir and Cosmi closing up to the likes of Tamassi and Louis. Louis may be a bit out of reach, but certainly Tamassi they should be able to overtake.
Yeah, a lot of support going around in the chat now for Ali Ferrari 5, who's our current race leader, from Matty1929. Ollie's just dropped off the back.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, the medium tires, they're 10 laps old, and I think the hard tires are coming into play on their performance, which means that Bart, Frost and Zaya have now pulled away from Ollie in P4. And Kevar is closing in on him.
So it's quite a big turnaround. That the guys who were 1, 2 and 3 in the race are now 8, 9 and 10, and we've only got 13 laps remaining here from Suzuka.
But Vader,
Massey's got...
Yeah, Vader's on the back of Tamassi already within the 7th end, so we expect him to make a move soon. Obviously we have all Ferrari still to pit, but in the end he will certainly be the fastest man on track, as he will likely put on the softs.
He will. Oh, look
Vader,
at Tamassi,
yeah.
Takes a wide one, yeah. Takes a wide one into 14, and this could be a switcheroo in the battle for P7. Quite an interesting line. I saw that a lot in last night's race, just hugging that right side pit wall. And Vader is on the comeback trail, and his next target is 11.6 seconds behind him. That's EXR Lewis, and I think Lewis, Ollie, and Ali of all. I think, will they pit again, or can they take the mediums? Can they take the mediums to 22 laps?
But obviously have to take into account that the safety car was there, so at least 3 or 4 tires. Yeah, well, they've been gifted as the tire life, so I think you would be having taken into account that the mediums would be about 17, 18 laps old, maybe 19. The longest stint I've done on the mediums in Japan is, I think, 18 laps, and the tires were pretty much done in the end. So yeah, it's all depending on the setup. How well does it cope with tire life? Can they still push on it in the end?
I think if you EXR Ollie and EXR Lewis, providing you don't have any mishaps in the neck, you got nothing to lose. Pit stops for them change it dramatically as we go on board with Kevar 84, who's just a little bit too far away, I think, from Ollie. Ollie on 12% ERS against Kevar's 40 as Vader sets the fastest lap of 1:30.7, and you can see he's already chomped a second out of that time.
Yeah, I was going to say.
As Ollie's right round, baby, right round through the S's, and I hope that ain't cursing the commentator. The spin count again in the chat, if you will. Kevar's up to P4, but he's got EXR Lewis on the back because he did have to take quite evading action. He went off the track, but Lewis not able to take advantage. So EXR spins, and that's going to open the door for Vader. He's lost 9 seconds there, Caesar.
Yeah, around that, but not only that, his tires will be damaged quite a lot because of the spin. and it will be hot as well. So I expect Vader to be closing in on him. So unfortunately for Ollie, Ollie was driving so well. He made the big moves in the beginning as well.
He has made move of the day into turn 1, and we've gone up to 72 viewers, and the new ones that I can see in the chat. Good evening to Aiden, Houkou, Goat, Off Westy in the chat. Good evening to you three. Hope you're well. But yeah, Vader on the back of EXR Ollie now, Caesar, and looking to take P6.
Yeah.
Here he goes.
Will be a close one.
He almost clipped the barrier. Ollie touches grass, weaves to the right, then the left. Holds that car centre, but Vader's sent him around here. Oh, there's contact.
As he hits the curb on the inside, which is why his car got loose all of a sudden.
Yeah, very lucky. That could have been carnage.
Does Vader have damage?
Nothing that I can see visually off the front wing. Is EXR stonks sets the fastest lap of a 1:30.4.
Yeah, Lewis is going to defend very hard. It was an opportunistic move to go side by side into turn 1.
Indeed. No. Oh, he's just brought it back in. Ali Ferrari did adventure outside of the DRS detection 1 second there. He was 1.1, but it's dropped back down to 9/10. And that Red Bull tyres at 16 laps. He's used all of his battery as well. Is that a sign that we might be seeing a pit stop coming?
I think, you know what?
Knows?
I think you might be correct there. Yeah, as he is pitting. Which leaves ERL for Savoia in the lead. Oh, he gets a time penalty.
No.
Oh, that's crucial, As it's ERL 1, 2, 3 now again, with Louis still close on the back of Kevar. And Vader going for another move of Ollie, and this time it's a bit easier, as I think Ollie got a bit loose on traction there on the exit of the final corner. And then Vader is up to P5.
Is indeed, and on the subject of the penalties, we'll just go over them. So it's EXR Lewis with 3 seconds, Ollie with 3 seconds, Tomasi with 5. Remember for the pit lane infringement. Ferrari, as you just on the screen, as Ollie's off. Aston Martin into the barrier, and that's going to put him down in P9. And the only other penalty is Stonks with the 3 second. His tyres are cooking. He's struggling to get the power down. And another EXR spin, Caesar.
Yeah. Savoia is about to overtake Bartfrost for the lead, I think. Only 2/10 to drift. 2 cars in the lead. But yeah, we have Ali Ferrari, of course, on the softs. He is currently 2 seconds behind Key Mirror. And crucially, 6 seconds, I think, behind Vader. So it would be interesting to see. Of course, Vader has 5 level mediums, and all Ferraris on new softs. So it would be interesting to see if he can perhaps catch up to him. But of course, he has the very unfortunate 5-second penalty. So yeah, as Kimura is very close to Messi, 2/10, 1/10 at the final chicane.
Yeah, I'm just following EXR Lewis, who's 4/10 behind Kevar, and Kevar hasn't got DRS2 Sire in front, so back to Key Mirror we go.
Yeah, and he passed Messi on the outside of turn 1 into P6.
Looks very bumpy.
Yeah.
It looks very bumpy down that pit straight, especially if you keep to that right hand side line, and I'm sure Cosme gets past Ollie as we talk about that, and that right side of the pit straight there looks very bumpy, and I'm sure you're feeling that if you're on wheel. Controller not so much, but Ali Ferrari 1.4 seconds a gap now to Tomasi, and it's softly hard. Chalk v cheese.
Oh, and
yellow
it's
flag in
Ollie again.
1.
What a disaster for the EXR driver.
Another EXR spin.
As I've been notified again by the Twitch chat, apparently me and FRA BTX, our voices are quite similar, and we've heard that about, well, probably 10,000 times right now. It's quite funny.
Now, I was in a party with a young Decorous mates, a young Shush, a young Harry, and a young Jamie Wexrow earlier, and I was talking about the party last night and the commentary, and I did notify that I did think that you and BTX sounded similar, but you are the better looking one of the two, and also that Decorous Shuey sounds like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So
I can't agree more. Of course.
Yeah, Ollie's at the wheel, Shuey's in the comms.
Yeah. As we have Louis now 2 times on the back of Kavar. This is obviously for a podium. Of course, Louis has that, I think, 3-second time penalty. Yeah. Which will be, well, if he gets the chance to pass Kavar, he'll have to pull away 3 seconds, which is a hell of a job around Japan.
Yeah.
As we have Vader, of course, closing in as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yellow flag. And that's Louis. He's round. Oh, on the exit of the hairpin, and Vader gets past.
Another, I'm bored of saying it, another EXR spin. And I think, just going back to that comment about Shuey, obviously to everyone in the stream chat last night, Shuey did sound like R2-D2, but to me in the party it did sound like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, so hopefully we'll get him back in comms when his mic clears up a bit. As we watch EXR Lewis touch grass again, 130R on the left hand side and the right hand side, and then 15 lap old medium tyres, probably going to die, probably on the way out, probably on the cliff now with the 2 spins that we've seen, but he's going to carry on.
Yeah.
Shuey Gunnar Solskjaer, look at that. He's just pulled over Tomasi and let Ali Ferrari go on the attack of Kimura with 6 laps to go.
Yeah.
12 minutes until the next race starts, so we are going to be pushed for time here at Caesar.
Yeah.
It's going to be a quick change around. I don't know if you want to get a drink and stuff before.
I'm all okay. If we have another yellow flag, and I think it's Ollie, not sure why the game showed a yellow flag there. As we do a live score update again, currently ERL scores 80 points and EXR scores 22 points.
So that's 8 points over the bracket that they need to dump SLR out the competition. Ooh. I believe, is that correct?
I think I missed that. Ferrari has another 3-second time penalty. Now on 8 seconds.
Yeah, it's not going. Them soft tyres, he's not used to all his speed, I imagine.
As it stands, Cosme will overtake both of those EXR drivers with 8 seconds of penalty, Ferrari and Tomasi, which will make the win even bigger for ERL if the race ends up like this. Because obviously in F1, to finish first you have to finish.
Indeed.
We still have around 64 viewers. It's insane. Again, for the first stream. Obviously, have a second stream after this. But make sure not to miss these final 6 laps, as we have Al Ferrari closing on the key mirror on the softs, of course, and on very much fresher softs as well than the A-leveled mediums of key mirror. It's going to be interesting to see if Ferrari is going to be able to make a move. I doubt he will win the position in the end, but anything can happen. He's very close on the back of the ERL driver going into the hairpin.
No, and a lot of disappointment shouted in the chat for Ali getting that penalty. And just a reminder to everyone in the chat, after this race is finished, we will just be dropping the stream and restarting it so that it can be used on over social media platforms, etc. I know one team in particular who like to reuse streams that I definitely commentate over for their YouTube channel, so we will be straight back up instantly, so don't go anywhere. Use that couple of minutes opportunity to grab some popcorn and get ready for NRX v FRT, which comes up in 4 laps time.
As Bart Frost has already started at 23rd lap. Ferrari is very close. Yeah, you were going to say 3 times back, but I think it's out of ERS. That's of course going to make him move very difficult as he carries so much more speed into turn 1.
And a little bit behind him, Cosme on the 10-lap old mediums.
Tomasi is on 17 old lap hards behind Cosme.
Yeah.
I doubt
He's got
if there will
past
be
him.
any tire advantage between those two. But yeah, Tomasi is very close on the back, so let's see if he's going to be able to make a move as we have a yellow flag. And that Stonk's going very slowly on the straight, so don't know what's happening there.
I want to say, is he waiting for EXR Ollie to go past him to give him DRS on a fastest lap attempt?
I think, to be honest, Ollie has the fastest lap already by quite a margin, I think a full second. Yeah, all the ERL drivers are on old tires, so I doubt the fastest lap by Ollie, which is 29.8, it's going to be in danger. Stonks gets another 3-second time penalty.
So we just watched on board with Ali Ferraris. He went wide at Spoon, and that puts him 7 tenths back.
And that's another yellow flag.
In sector
And that's
2, and
Ollie
guess
again.
who?
Yeah. The Kimura has closed up to Louis in front. 6 tenths on the straight.
Yeah. And EXR Ollie is right round, baby, right round again. And Kimura using the DRS off the back of EXR Louis has gapped Ali Ferrari, but Ali Ferrari's coming straight back at him through the S's. It looks like I'm on board with Ali Ferrari now. It looks like he's absolutely sending it. Good evening to Effie Shumi in the chat.
Swift.
Yellow flag in sector 2.
It's Ollie again.
Guess who, ladies and gentlemen? It's the F1 roundabout. It's EXR Ollie. He's right round, baby, right round for, I don't even want to think, 6th time, Caesar?
I don't know, mate. It's so unfortunate for him.
Yeah, as Ali Ferrari is now riding the back of that Mercedes of ERL.
So close, yeah. It's going to be difficult for him to make a move, because Kimura is so close to Louis as well. Louis gets a bit out of shape on the exit. He starts to weave a bit on the back straight. He's closing in, Kimura. It's very close, but he wants to stay behind because of the DRS.
Yeah, but does that open a door for Ferrari? Could have sent a move there into the Casio triangle, and look at the traction difference. He's pushing Kimura down the straight. What an exit from Ali Ferrari. We saw it from Ronha last night, pushing one of the AMS drivers down the straight. As yellow flag in sector 2, and it stonks round, but we'll stay on board with this battle. And it looked like everyone just put the brakes on going into turn 1. I'm not sure why that was. Is there a bit of lap counting going on or something? I don't know.
Yeah, well, in turn 1 you want to be very careful, as drivers can take different lines at different speeds as well. So you definitely don't want to pick up damage there.
The traction, some of the exits of these corners from Ali Ferrari on 6-lap old sauce is quite remarkable, as we see if he can do it again at a turn 11. And again, matches the traction. So we'll stay on board with this battle, I think, Caesar, for a little while. It's the only battle on track now.
Oh, and it's another yellow flag, and Stonks is round again.
2 secs, I got an important phone call I've got to take.
Yeah. Oh, good. Oh, as Ollie goes around again, and he cuts the corner, but he saves it miraculously. But yeah, going back to Ali Ferrari, Kimura is now very close on the back of Louis. So all brake very cautiously in the final chicane. Ferrari missed the apex a bit. Kimura is so much closer than Louis now. But as I say that, he gets a pretty poor exit, and Ali Ferrari is very close again. But yeah, Kimura has the DRS. He's not gaining. As Louis shuts the door on him, which makes both Kimura and Ferrari braking earlier. As at the front, Bartfras and Zaya have now started lap 26. It's the penultimate lap of this race. But we still carry on with this amazing battle between these 3 drivers, of course. 2 EXR drivers and 1 from ERL. But as I say that, Cosme has called up to the back of Ferrari. It's now a 4-way battle with 2 of each.
I'm back.
Good. Cosmi has joined the battle, Rose. As
Nice,
Stonks
nice. He's caught well.
Stonks is on the grass again.
Oh, he misses a braking point, Cosmi, and unfortunately, apologies for the slight dip out there. The joys of being a manager while there is still a shift on site. It was a work call that couldn't be ignored, I'm afraid. It's Cosmi again. There's another spin. Oh,
he has crashed.
yes. I'm not going to say too much more. We can talk after the race on that one. Is Ollie's DNF now as well? So that's 3 EXR that have DNF'd. 2 within close proximity of each other. ERL Esports saying wow in the chat.
Louis, let's pass Kimira and our Ferrari. He's still ahead of Cosmi as we enter the final lap of this race. ERL looking very comfortable, but still the 2 EXR drivers here challenging and putting pressure on the drivers so much.
Owen Howell 36 in the chat, good evening. Yeah, the chat is talking about what went through my mind when I watched the first DNF of the 2. I'll say no more than that. Is he going to make that move up into turn 11? Looks for the switch back on key mirror.
Louis has a puncture. Left front. Oh, he's going off. He's on the grass. Yeah, 22 lap old mediums there. And Louis has, I think Ollie has retired on track there. If I'm not mistaken, yeah. Oh no, he was DNF'd already.
Yeah, he DNF'd on this corner here.
Oh, that is such a shame.
Nightmare.
Louis did such a good job. It's such a shame to see his tires go. He was ahead of Kimira for such a long time, while Kimira was on better tires.
Indeed, and as we talk about that, Bartfraz takes the checkered flag on the hard tyres from his teammate Savoia. Kevar comes home in P3, Vader P4, Kimira P5, Cosmi comes home in P6, Ali Ferrari take nothing away from him. A fantastic drive, I think, from the Red Bull driver, apart from the couple of misdemeanor penalties. EXR Lewis comes home with a puncher in P8 as we go on board with Tomasi. And we are 1 minute away from the start of the next race, Caesar. And Tomasi's going to come over the line. And that is it for this evening.
Can we just say ERL took the win 1-6, but the EXR, some of the EXR drivers had some storming drives. They had so much unfortunate incidents and unlucky in the end. But yeah, provisionally that is ERL taking the maximum points, which provisionally gets them through to the semi-finals.
It is indeed an unfortunate for SLR. Beat both teams in the group, I believe, and don't go through. So just a quick overview before we drop the stream and head off into the NRX lobby. So it's Bartfraz, Zaya, Kevar, Vader, Kimira and Cosmi locking out the 1-6 for ERL. Ali Ferrari in P7, Canola's head high, fantastic drive from the Red Bull guys. Started P12, Lewis, Tomasi, Stonks, Ollie and Luca completing the top 12. Fastest lap of a 1:29.7, and the driver of the day award going to Kevar in P3 who started P8. Caesar, any final words before I drop this stream?
Well, like I said, the result of this race kind of gives the wrong impression of how this race went and ended. Yeah, it's very unfortunate for EXR. They've done a great job in this tournament, but as it stands, ERL goes through. But yeah, as per tradition, teams have the right to send incidents to the stewards, and who knows, the result may change. So that's it for now. We have another race starting up, so let's go to that one.
No problem. And guys, just stay in the stream. I'll drop it up as quickly as we can. I'm just going to drop it and then change the graphics over and come straight back. NRX v FRT coming up in a couple of minutes. Thank you to ERL and EXR, and we will catch you in a couple of moments.